Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League match live on BT Sport this season.
Now, very happy to welcome live to the show Sheffield United and Republic of Ireland international, of course. John Egan is with us. John, thanks for the time. Great to have you on the show.
No problem, how's things?
Yeah, very well. Here, come here. Congratulations, by the way, because you were announced FAI Senior International Player of the Year 2020. It was announced last month, but with COVID, no ceremony, no round of applause, no posing with the trophy, night out for the family. But that's a big achievement. I hope you're not going to brush that away and say you don't care about individual honours. That's a great thing to win.
Yeah, listen, huge honour. Especially being a proud Irishman, come from a proud family. It's fantastic to be recognised, I suppose, and to win that award was very special.
Were you expecting it?
No, not at all. I just, you don't really think about them things, when you're a player and stuff. And just woke up one morning, seeing I had a message saying I got it, and then obviously it was on Twitter and stuff. So all my friends and stuff were texting me. So yeah, it was, a pleasant surprise. Good
man. To be fair, it would be a touch arrogant if you'd answered that question with yes.
Yeah, I'm not Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, so I don't think I can be thinking like that.
So, listen, I guess the point of the chat is to check in and see how the season's going, and obviously tomorrow week, hell of a big game. I was just glancing through a few different bits. The start of this year, you dislocated your toe, I saw, which is not the most important thing I'm going to chat to you about here, don't worry, but that doesn't sound like fun. Out for 8 weeks. I've never had the pleasure. What's that like?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, really. I blocked the shot, played West Ham away, blocked the shot, and as soon as I blocked it, the follow-through kind of caught me, and I just knew, looked down, I knew there was something out of place in my foot. So the pain wasn't really sore. It was just kind of the sickly feeling of feeling like a bone or a joint or something is out of place. So it was a weird one. The stretcher came out and everything, so there was people watching it from back home and stuff were very worried. But, luckily for me, it wasn't a break. It was a dislocation, and got away with one, really. Could have been a lot worse. So, I only missed 5 or 6 games, had an operation, and, played the last 9-10 games of the season. Right. So it was good to be back.
So dislocation's better result than a break in that instance?
In some areas, yeah, I suppose. And where I got it, I thought I might have broke my metatarsal or something, which is 3 or 4 months and would have been me for the season. But luckily the doctor kind of pulled it back into place quick enough to make sure I didn't need a big operation or anything. So right. It was bittersweet, I suppose. Bad to get injured, but luckily enough, it wasn't a bad one.
Yeah. Look away now, John, as I shove your dislocated toe back into its spot.
Yeah, one of them. Grit the teeth, get on with it.
I was just having a glance at your record. In fairness to you, you play a lot of games. You don't seem to get injured, or if you do, you play through the pain a little bit. So just to give people a sense of that, going right back to, say, League One days with Gillingham in 2015, 45 games in the league. These are just league games that year. League One with Gillingham, 36 games in 16. Brentford in the Championship, 17, 34 games. Brentford in the Championship, 2018, 33 games. And then Sheffield United, 19 in the Championship, 44 games. Premier League in 20, 36 games. And then last year in the Premier League, 31 appearances, and that's with the toe, which we've discussed at length already. And so I looked in all competitions. You've your highest season was 52 matches, all competitions. The lowest you've had any year is 34. That's pretty good, Are you generally quite lucky with injury, or are you playing through pain a lot of the time? What's it like as a professional footballer in those terms?
Yeah, listen, you try and make yourself available for every game you can. Sometimes during the season you might have a niggle that, you can get through without making it worse. So, you kind of take a few painkillers and stuff. You might have a little flu or a bit of illness that you want to, it would take a lot to kind of knock you out of the team, really. You don't want to give your place up and give someone else a chance to do it. So I think kind of mentally from my head anyway, when I'm approaching games, if I have something, maybe a bit wrong with me, but I think I can play and do a good job, then, I'd always try and play through it. Obviously I've been lucky enough that I've had, a good run of games in each of those seasons, and, it's important to try and look after your body off the field as well. So, recovery, rest, is a big part of playing it too.
How often would you be in the tunnel before a game, league game, and feeling 100%?
Not often. I suppose you could probably count in one or two hands, how many times that's happened in my career. I played over 300 games, and a lot of it could be anything. You play that many games, you could even just be exhausted, but you get on with it. You have your caffeine tablets, you might have a can of Red Bull or something, anything to kind of get you into the zone and get you feeling alive and awake for games. But yeah, you're constantly kind of trying to manage your body, playing that many games, and kind of becomes a routine really. After the game you have to eat well, you have to recover, get the right sleep, and not do too much away from football that kind of takes your energy.
Championship is such a slog as well. We had Damien Delaney on the show, and I remember him saying that the year he was promoted with Crystal Palace potentially extended his career, because in a perverse way playing Premier League is less of a treadmill than the Championship by comparison. So you've experienced both. How would you compare the demands of Premier League football versus Championship, be that physically or in terms of the quality of the opposition, the whole experience? What's a season like, Premier League versus Championship, on the body, on the mind, everything?
I think they're both similar. Obviously, you've more league games than the Championship, a lot more midweek games. Premier League, you've a lot of kind of Saturday to Saturday, or you've a week's break between most games. So I suppose games-wise, it's not as tough, but the demands are tougher because you're playing against better players and better teams, and you're probably doing a bit more running, and you're getting punished if you're playing against quality players if you make mistakes. And I suppose mentally it's probably more demanding in the Premier League, but from a physical point of view, the Championship is, it's non-stop. If you win a game or you lose a game, it's quick to kind of forget about it because you have another game in 2 or 3 days. So listen, they're both challenging in both ways, but from a player's point of view, you just have to be looking forward to the next game all the time and doing everything you can to be ready for the team.
What would you miss about Premier League football?
You miss playing against the best teams in the world, and going out and doing well. And the first year, especially when we went up, we were in the top 6, top 7 for most of the season. So we were gone from being promoted from the Championship to fighting for Europe. So the buzz that created, and we were obviously hit with COVID and the lockdown and having to do a season with no fans, which kind of went by. You kind of feel like you've lost out a bit as a player, playing in the biggest stages with no fans. So that was a bit annoying. But listen, the Championship nowadays as well is a huge league. We went to Nottingham Forest last night, 25,000 plus at the game. There's huge clubs in the Championship, and as long as you're playing football and trying to get results, you feel blessed to be able to do this as your job.
You've gone over to the UK in your late teenage years and worked your way through the lower leagues and the Championship and promotion into the Premier League. So it's not like it suddenly clicked for you as an 18-year-old playing against superstars from that age. Did you have any kind of pinch me moments in the Premier League where you're standing beside a certain player or you're in the tunnel against a certain team and you think, this is a bit surreal to be against this fella?
Because I kind of, I made my Premier League debut at 26, so I had a lot of, excuse me, I had a lot of football played by then. Yeah. I played for Ireland. I played a lot of Championship games, and kind of, I was probably better off that I didn't make it when I was 18, because I remember being on the bench for Sunderland. I was 19, I think, against Man United, and I was in the tunnel, and Ferdinand, Rooney, Evra, all the big names, and I was kind of pinching myself, thinking, if I come on here and playing against these lads. But I think by the time I made my debut, I was more experienced, played a lot of games, and there was nerves for the first game. Obviously coming up, not knowing what to expect, but we got off to such a good start that the nerves kind of went, and we were going out there on a level playing field. We were putting it up to the best teams in the league, and I suppose it's only now when you look back on it you think how well we did, and at the time you're just out there to try and get a result. and it was a really good mindset to be in, that you weren't going there as a tourist to the big ground. You were going there to compete and try and get points.
John, what is it about the real top guys that separates them? Like, what is it about Salah? What is it about Aguero that makes them so unbelievable?
Quality and mentality. These guys at the top, they've got fierce drive and fierce mentality to keep getting better. And you make a mistake against them, you get punished. I suppose they're masters of their craft. You can see that you don't get to the top without working hard, and they obviously do a lot of finishing, a lot of work and training to make them the players they are. And that's why sometimes you don't appreciate it until you're kind of there and you're up against them, and you see how good some people really are.
So you mentioned you were playing last night. So I don't know if you saw any of Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo last night.
I saw the goals. I only saw the goals, the highlights. Yeah.
Okay. So tomorrow week, big game. Hello? Obviously. You gone? Sorry, I was just saying. Well, tomorrow week. I mean, it's there's two for you. So, what was your experience of being up against that caliber? Those two, for instance, in the Algarve, because for a lot of the game, it was going very, very well, and Ronaldo was as quiet as you could hope to keep Ronaldo, and then, as is his habit, he seems to pop up and strike. So, what was the experience of playing against somebody of that caliber, for instance? What's your memory of trying to tackle him and keep him quiet?
Yeah, it's obviously tough. They've a really good squad. Top players, and we went there with the belief that we could cause an upset. All week in training we were working on things, and I suppose the game didn't get off to the best start. We gave away a penalty, but Gavin made an unbelievable save, and I think we just grew in confidence from that. We started executing the game plan really well. Took the lead just before half time, and with a bit of luck, we might have gone 2 up in the second half, and it would have been totally different. But as you said there, Ronaldo had other ideas, and at the very end of the game, he caught us twice. And sometimes you got to hold your hands up. There's quality players who can do things like that, and I think we gave a really good account of ourselves. We went there with belief. We played out of our skin, really played really well, and we're really unlucky not to get a result. So we're going to try and work hard in training next week to go out there and get a result next Thursday.
I saw you saying of the goal which you scored, and I'm sure that's an unbelievable moment, unbelievable thrill, that usually you'd go back post. Was it Shane Duffy said to you, you run front post this time and see what happens, just kind of on a whim?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because usually going back post, nothing really gets over Duffy, so I thought there's no point in going back to the back. But yeah, he just said go near post this time. And I actually said to Andrew, I think Andrew was next to me, Andrew Mabamadelli, and I said, go get yourself a debut goal. And then I ended up scoring. He ran over and he said, geez, you go get yourself a goal, will you? So it was quite funny. But no, it was a brilliant moment. Like, took the lead just on half time, and we felt like we were growing into the game as well. So it's great for confidence. It's just unfortunate we didn't get a result to go with it, to be honest. We really felt like we played well enough to get a result that night. And it was heartbreaking after.
I can imagine. Was I reading your mum was in the crowd?
Yeah, it was mad, really. I literally scored, started running towards Jamie, and then I just looked to the right to see, look into the fans, maybe give the Portugal fans a shush. But I just seen my mum. My mum was just up there waving her hands, like screaming. So I just stopped and just started screaming at her. It was funny.
Wow.
It was,
what a moment.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable moment. Yeah, probably the best moment I've had in a football pitch, to be fair.
Oh God, I'd say by a distance. Because your mum is a League of Ireland medal, so she knows her stuff. She's watching you with a critical eye.
Oh yeah, very critical. When we, not that game, but when we tend to lose games, I wouldn't be ringing her straight after the game because I wouldn't want to be listening to what she has to say. But no, she loves it. She's really proud, and every time I put on the Ireland shirt, she's so proud, and she loves it, and she comes to all the games she can, so it's good. And
so when you're heading off to England as a teenager, is she keen for you to go? Is she saying, look, you gotta go for this, if she's big into her football?
To be honest, no, she was kind of keen on me staying, do the leaving cert and, kind of stick around, try go after that. But kind of had it in my head as soon as I was offered a contract, I wanted to go, and, my dad, really wanted me to go as well. So it was a tough decision. But, it was too good of an opportunity to turn down at the time. And, you know, I think once she sorted out the education side of things with Sunderland, that, you know, I'd still get my education. You know, that was kind of the only hurdle I had to clear to get her on side. So,
Right.
no, she was obviously sad to see me go, but she, you know, she knew that I was going after something that I really wanted to.
And was Dad saying stay as well, or did he think maybe
No,
take a chance?
He just said to me, look, I believe you're good enough to go. I believe you're good enough to make it over there. So, you know, go over, work hard, and, you know, I'll back you 100%. He said, because I was obviously toying with the idea of playing Gaelic football and hurling, and he kind of basically said to me, look, I've won everything in Gaelic football and stuff, and, you know, you kind of don't really have anything to show for it in a way. Like, you got memories and medals and stuff, but he said, you've got an opportunity to go over there, and, you know, it's your living, you're playing a sport you love to play. And, you know, he said, if I had the opportunity, I'd go. So I suppose listening to my dad, who was my hero and, you know, one of my best friends, really saying that, it was, you know, kind of put my mind at ease.
Wow. That's some belief to have in your son, isn't it? That's amazing.
Yeah, no, he was good.
Most parents, I'd say, are saying, oh, look, geez, it's a 1 in a million chance. Are you sure? You know, I mean, to say, God, you're good enough, go for it. Amazing.
That's the thing, yeah. Listen, it's the success rate is really low, but I suppose if you do have that belief in yourself, and, you know, if you want to do it, I suppose the decision was left up to me, really.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, do it. Like, I was mature enough. I was 16 going on 17. Like, you know, I felt like I had a mature head on me for that age. You know, I'd gone over on trial 5 or 6 times to different clubs, and, you know, I kind of seen the level myself, and, you know, I knew I'd work hard, as hard, if not harder, than anyone over there to do it. So I knew if I had that side right, and that I had a good chance.
You talked there about, you know, your dad being your best friend and, you know, that kind of advice, and I can only imagine the effect his passing has on you and the family. I must say, it crossed my mind watching you scoring the goal. On those great nights, like the big highlights, if it's not too personal a question, would you feel his loss more acutely? Would you be thinking of him on the flight home, God, thinking, geez, you know, moment like that? Or maybe it's a Tuesday morning more so when you think of it, I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's funny, like, because the biggest highs, you know, sometimes you think of them as lows when you think like that. Like, you know, I'll be speaking to my family after the game, and, you know, the first thing I'd say is, oh, imagine Dad was there. Like, you know what I mean? You just kind of say it, just comes out.
Yeah.
And especially in Portugal, like in the Algarve, because we used to go there, like, to Alvor we went there a lot as kids, like maybe once every summer. Myself, my mum, my dad, my sister, and, you know, myself and my dad would go off playing football. Wherever we could find a pitch, or a sand pitch or a gravel pitch, and, you know, to score my first Ireland goal there then even meant more, because, you know, it was all I was thinking of when we actually flew there. And, you know, instead of the game being on in Lisbon, it was on in the Algarve, and you know, it was crazy. You know, that's good. They're the nights when you feel like he's looking down on you. You know, and it's a strange feeling, but it was very special.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, because often, you know, it's on those special days, someone's wedding day or graduation, or, well, not everyone scores for Ireland, but they're the days that are, I think you used the word bittersweet.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I suppose, like everything, you know, you're always thinking, what if, but, you know, I'm lucky enough to have him as a dad, and, you know, I was extremely lucky to have my mum in the crowd that night. You know, so I suppose when you look at it that way, you know, it's just a feeling of kind of being a bit blessed, and, you know, as long as, you know, people are healthy around you, that's the main thing.
Yeah. So she had done well to travel over, I think. I don't know how many Irish fans were in the stadium. I take it she'll be there tomorrow week. She gets to her fair share of games, does she?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. There's a big crowd up from Cork and Kerry tomorrow week, all dying to go to the game. So, yeah, listen, hopefully we can put on a really good performance.
There's a text in, because we mentioned you were coming on. It's funny, this text has come in 4 times. Does he support Kerry or Cork?
I knew that was coming.
Did you? Okay. It's a common question to you, I suppose.
Yeah, listen, growing up in my house, it was Kerry football. So naturally, you know, I was going to Munster finals wearing a Kerry jersey, going to All-Ireland semi-finals, All-Ireland finals, you know, being around the team after the finals. My dad would be going to the functions, I'd be there with him. So, you know, fanatic Kerry Gaelic football supporter all my life, given, you know, what my dad has done. My mum's a Kerry woman as well, so that's kind of what I've been brought up to be. On the other hand, living in Cork, you know, seeing the passion Cork people have for their football and hurling teams, you know, especially hurling, they're fierce passion for the hurling down there, and they were very successful when I was growing up as well. So I ended up going to all the Cork games with my buddies, all the Cork hurling games, and you know, it's an easy one to say, Kerry in the football and Cork in the hurling, but that is what I am. That is what I suppose, Cork and Kerry, you could say. But listen, some of my friends, you know, they've broken into the Cork senior football and hurling teams. And,
right.
You know, I'll support them all the time. You know, I want them to do well. And I suppose if Kerry aren't going well in the football, then I'd probably turn into a Cork football fan. And if Cork fall off a cliff in the hurling and Kerry start booming, then I'll turn into a Kerry hurling fan.
Fair enough. Come here, Cork lads are taking over this Irish team, by the way.
Yeah, to be fair, it just shows the work they're doing down in the Cork Schoolboys League. You know, growing up, it was always really competitive. There was always some really good players, even my age, you know, that probably could have went across the water. Good club mate of mine, Damien Carlan, he was in goal for my schoolboy team growing up. He was as good as any keeper I've seen in Ireland, you know, coming through them age groups. And, you know, he went down to Gaelic football and hurling. Paddy's played for Cork Hurlers now a number of years after playing for the footballers, and, you know, shows what an athlete he is. And I think Cork is just such a sporting county. You know, you got Gaelic football, hurling, you know, football, rugby, you know, basketball. They play everything down in Cork, and it's a really good environment to grow up in, because you end up just playing every sport, and you can kind of take bits from every sport. Yeah,
I can imagine. So the last two Irish performances were brilliant, I think is the only way you could describe them. Like, it felt like a real step forward. There's I was going to say a pressure, that's not the right word, or responsibility, but there's an onus on you at the back to get the ball and start playing and play passing football. How are you finding that? Are you enjoying that under this manager? Because it seems certainly like the last, the Qatar match in particular, the team just looked like they were really enjoying themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's obviously taken a bit of time. You know, the manager and the coaching staff are brilliant. They've come in with, you know, clear ideas. You know, the sessions are really good of, you know, what's expected from us in training, and, you know, to take it into the game. And I think you can kind of see the last few months, every camp we've kind of improved and we've grown as a team. You know, the last camp was brilliant. Everything clicked. You know, we went away to Azerbaijan, which, you know, is a tough place to go, and to win 3-0 away from home was brilliant. And, you know, you could see the confidence we took from that game into the Qatar game, who, you know, Qatar aren't a bad side, and we just had a game plan, and, you know, the lads executed the game plan perfectly. You know, we played some really, really good football.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to everyone, really, you know, the manager, the staff, and all the players, because, you know, everyone is dying to improve and to learn and to try win games. And, you know, we all know results, you know, is the main thing. And, you know, we want to be able to put in good performances and get results. And I think you can see us growing as a team.
No, I think that's fair. I think it's a long time since we saw those kind of performances in the most recent window. So look, fingers crossed obviously for Portugal tomorrow week, and Luxembourg. One last one. I noticed, so obviously captaincy has come with Ireland, and, you know, 2 years after your debut, the first time you were made captain of Ireland, you've done it plenty of times since, obviously, and recently as well. You were made captain at Brentford as a player, captain at Sheffield United. Your manager was singing your praises, your new manager Jukanovic, as a player and as a captain recently. I don't know if you saw any of that, but he was talking you up in a huge way. What kind of captain are you? Why do you think maybe different managers are looking to you to be a captain? What do you try and bring to that role?
I don't know really. I just be me. I just, you know, try to lead by example, really. Try to just do my job as best as I can every day. You know, I try to train well and make sure my body, you know, is ready for the games. And, you know, when I play games, I try to do well and be consistent. I don't know really why, you know, obviously I've been captain at a few places now. But it's a responsibility that I like. And,
right,
you know, whether you have the armband or not, you know, it doesn't really change me. You know, I just go out and do my job every day and train, and every game I get to play, and just try to do it as well as I can.
Good man. Well, listen, you're doing something right. Best of luck next week, obviously. Everybody going to be watching. I hope it goes well. John Egan, great to have you on the show. Really appreciate it, John, your time. Thanks so much.
No worries. Thanks a million.
Cheers. John Egan there with us live on the line. And Football and Off the Ball is brought to you by Sky. Watch every UEFA Champions League and Europa League match live on BT Sport this season.